All right, so we're just gonna talk more about localization.
Yeah.
What the fuck do we talk about? I already covered like all the bases.
Well, we can go a little bit more in depth than you. Well, Brian,
I like how you
Brian, you did a
throw
terrible
stuff
job, so we're gonna talk about how you could have done a better job.
Okay, can we just fucking like right out the gate? So there was a person who commented on it, right? Who said, you know how I brought up that Animal Crossing had unintentional racism, as did Rusty's Real Deal, right? Like if you brought those games to the West, translated them verbatim, that would have been perceived as racism.
Yes.
I still had a comment tell me censorship is still bad no matter what. Let the let people who are sensitive about racism tell them to not play the fucking game. And I was like, I'm positive this person's a troll, right? Like there's a very good chance this person's a troll.
Yes.
But it reminded me of one thing.
That there are real people out there.
There are real people out there who think this way.
Yep.
And that pissed me off.
It's a sad world we live in.
I know it's a sad world.
When you told me about that, it was like I didn't believe
like,
you. I didn't believe you. I thought you were joking. Like I went and checked to make sure it was there.
You did?
I thought you were like trying to trick me.
Why would I trick you? This is stupid. You can't write. Okay, well, it's stupid you can't write, yet it's stupid you can predict, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the sad part about it. Like, when I made that video, I basically expected... And, you know, localization really is important. Like, there's two types of localization that you usually encounter. Oh god, am I fucking saying this right? A woollyism?
A woollyism?
Yeah, a woollyism. So... Animal Crossing loves woollyism, so it's woolsyism.
Oh, okay.
So what a woolsyism is, it was done by Ted Woolsey, right?
Yep.
He was a old translator for Square Enix back in the Super Nintendo era. So, and a lot of people hate his method of translation because usually what a woolsyism is like, say, you know that Animal Crossing line I told you about where it's, hey, what is it? Yeah, like if you were tanned or dark or like, you know, your character was like black, a character would come up to you and say, hey, nice tan, bro. Mm-hmm. What you would do in a woolsyism is you would basically disregard that line completely and write a new line in its place.
Okay.
Now,
why do people have a problem with that?
Because it
ruins the authenticity of the original vision of the developers.
Yeah, I can understand that, but sometimes woolsyisms actually add to the experience, right? Like, it really depends on what kind of woolsyism you're going for, right? Like, Pokemon is filled with woolsyisms. So like in Japan, the dark type of Pokemon are known as evil types, right?
Yeah, I did know that.
So it's just minor stuff like that. What else was there?
That doesn't or shouldn't really change the game so much. But
yeah,
people
it doesn't
focus on it, or
yeah, it doesn't really change the name so much. Like almost every Pokemon's name is basically a woolsyism, right? Like,
well, yeah, because they like Greninja's not called Greninja in Japan. Is that what you mean? Or
it's something along those lines. Like, then there's a cultural translation where you have to translate something to make sense culturally.
So Earthbound's with the pencil and the eraser statue.
Yeah. I was wondering if you knew what I was going to bring up. I was going to bring up that exact same...
I think that's the easiest example to point out.
Yeah, because in Japan, it's an octopus, right? And what was the other thing?
I think they're both octopus. I'm pretty sure.
So the joke was, what do you call it? It's like when you take part of the Japanese word for octopus and you put it by itself, you get something along the lines of like, what is it, katakata or something?
Yeah, something like that.
And it means like a race. So that's where that makes sense. But that joke makes no sense in English. Yeah. So they changed it to be a pencil and eraser, which makes perfect logical sense. Like, if you were to hand that puzzle to an American, they likely wouldn't get it because there's a cultural boundary. Because we don't make... Because the way we do our sound effects it doesn't really make the same... You know, like, when you want to make an eerie sound effect in the West, what would you do? Like, how would you describe that in English?
I think
in a written form.
I think to make a sound that sounds like scary or eerie, like you have to use very little sound. Maybe like chimes or...
Yeah, I can see that. So like, but so like when you're rubbing something in the West, like, how would you write that? How would you describe that in terms of... You would just like, if you were reading a manga or like writing it down, you would just put the word rub, right?
Yeah.
Like, or just rub.
Yeah.
But in Japanese, I think you put koshi. Because like, because words that have their own meaning when put together make a totally different word. Like, kita means like killer, right?
Yeah.
But kita means like sparkling.
Yeah.
Which confused me at first. When I first heard of kita, it was on this image called kita fairy, and I was like, it's a killer fairy?
No. It's a killer fairy.
Killer. You see, the fairy's father was killed by a killer, and he's taking up a path of justice.
Justice has like big air quotes next to it.
Justice. You killed my father. Now I'm gonna kill you and everyone you plan to kill. Oh my god, that would make for a terrible protagonist, wouldn't it?
Right. That was what I was thinking. I was like,
Oh my god. Just fucking... It's shit like that. Like, I think... Okay, so you know the Bravely Second thing that happened recently, how they changed the native looking class?
Yeah.
Which doesn't really look native. It looks more like frontiersmen.
Yeah, it doesn't really look native, which was what they were going for.
It was going for like your typical fantasy archer.
Yeah. In
Japan, which for some reason, even though it doesn't look like a native, for some reason we view it as a native.
I think that like she had like a headdress or something. She had like a feather in her like headband.
She just had 3 feathers. She still has those 3 feathers in the West. She has them on a cowboy hat.
That might have been what it was, because it wasn't like now she has a hat, right? She's wearing like
and the hat still has the 3 feathers.
But before it was more like a bandana with the 3 feathers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that was what people were like, oh, you can't do that. That's it's a little bit risque. You can't like make an obvious like illusion, because what we think of Native Americans is so diluted, I think.
Yeah, and you know, I'm actually writing a video about this, and one of the points I bring up is, okay, well, I do say natives don't dress like this, right? But like one of the main comments I see a lot is people saying they find it odd that cowboys massacred Indians, and then they would and now they're just like taking the insult a step further by replacing it with cowboys, right? Which it like cowboys and I don't know how the fuck we got to this point, but like cowboys didn't massacre natives and cowboys were like very cordial with one another. Like, I don't get, like, the only time the two ever conflicted was during the cattle drives.
Well, it's just it's like a generational thing, right?
Yeah, because of that game, Cowboys and Indians. That's where
when
we
you're
get the
little,
perception.
Right? It's like cops and robbers, but
yeah, you get I think it's because we associate it with cops and robbers that we think the two were at each other's throats, when in reality they never were. They were very cordial. Sometimes they married each other, right?
Yeah.
Like it's more like they depict it in Shanghai Nights, where Jackie Chan just ends up marrying.
Yeah.
I love that movie. That movie's great.
Where did I see that? I saw that somewhere recently.
It was on Netflix.
No, I think they made a game out of it.
Shanghai Nights?
And somebody was playing the game.
Did they make a Shanghai Nights game? Or like a Shanghai Noon game?
Maybe. I've never seen the movie, so.
Oh, the movies are great. You should see. After this, if it's check Netflix, see if it's still on there, because it was great.
All right.
But yeah, I think the main reason though that it was changed isn't because of so like it was obviously based on like an old Western theme in a sense that they used guns. They used like pirate guns, like blunderbuss is or something, whatever you call it, right?
Yeah, blunderbuss.
A blunderbuss? Yeah.
Yep.
So they used guns. They didn't actually use bows and arrows. Like natives used guns too. They usually used like Henry repeater rifles.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, but culturally that doesn't make sense because we often associate natives with bows and arrows, you know?
Yeah, it's like there's so many, like, I think when you're growing up, the only images you see of native people, if you aren't exposed to them constantly, I think like most of the images you see of them are depictions of them with bows and arrows and fancy headdresses and stuff like that. When like now that stuff is more like reserved for ceremonies and celebrations, right?
Yeah.
It's like, but we still have like that thought in our head because it's something you have when you're so young and you don't think about it. You don't have like the critical thinking skills to examine it and like identify why that doesn't make sense anymore. And I think that plays back into it where you see like the Bravely Default or Bravely Second character looks sort of like it and you're like, can't do that, that's racist, can't do that.
Which, I mean, it's not really racist because it's not really natives, but for some reason we associate it as a native because it's like all we can really associate it with, right?
Yeah, because it's something that's like unfamiliar. So when you're
trying to explain something unfamiliar, you try and relate it to things that are familiar.
That was what I was trying to say.
so because like all I can really describe it as is your typical medieval fantasy barbarian archer in Japan, and like that makes no sense.
Yeah.
Unless you have played a bunch of Japanese games with medieval barbarian archers.
Unless you know the source material, you're not gonna understand the reference, and then it gets skewed over time, or like very quickly. One person says, "Oh, that's racist," and then the people who see that are like, "Oh, that's not good," and then you get like this like train going of people who are just like they don't understand the reference. So you get like your hate threads on 4chan or Reddit or your petitions to change the game on change.org.
This game made a change that doesn't affect the game, but I'm pissed because I'm a purist.
And it's like if you're a purist, just like if you're that pure about it, buy the game in Japanese.
Right, like what most people don't get is that the minute no game, like I stated in my video, no game is 1-for-1 with the Japanese release. Like something is always being lost in translation. You are never getting the same experience as Japan. Right? Like you're getting a similar one, but you're not getting the same one.
You're not getting a 1-to-1.
Yeah, like even
you're
with
getting like,
Shin
you're getting like the general.
Yeah, you're getting like a general idea of it. Like even in Japan, even Atlas, who does pretty faithful translations, they've stated they use a lot of Woolseyisms in their localizations.
Well, and like
that,
you have to, right? Like there's certain instances where it's just implausible to
there are
keep
just
source
parts that
content
don't
in
make
there.
sense. Yeah, like
And people, sorry, go ahead.
I just came across that fucking GIF with the kid throwing cereal in the cart, and the basketball player just tosses it out in midair. I love that. That I'm not sure if that's going to stay in the video, but so, oh man, what was I going on about? Oh yeah, so I was going to say, so that character class in Bravely Second. Now, I'm not saying you have to like this change. I'm not saying you have to be okay with it, or that you shouldn't be okay with it, because I know the change was made to satisfy certain people and make sense culturally, because like you have to remember there are going to be kids that play this game,
Yeah.
and the class's theme is based around sharpshooting, and
Right.
so like if you look at it and you compare it to, there was a class in Bravely Default that's in second. It's, what is it? It's like some kind of hunter class that it uses bows and arrows, right?
Yeah.
And so the main idea with it is you're using it to exploit enemy weaknesses, which, by the way, it was like one of my favorite character classes in the game. It was amazing. I think the reason they changed it is because it's based around sharpshooting, and if it is based on old Western themes, then because of how we interpret cowboys and Indians, it doesn't really make sense for a cowboy to be sharpshooting with a blunderbuss.
Well, yeah, it's like a fragile. It's not like a sniper rifle or something. Right?
Wait, did I say it makes no sense for a cowboy to be shooting with a blunderbuss?
You said it doesn't make sense for them to be shooting.
Yeah, it makes no sense for a native to be shooting with a blunderbuss in sharpshooting, but it makes perfect sense for a cowboy to be using a revolver or a blunderbuss for sharpshooting, right? Because like that's kind of what we associate old Western sharpshooting with,
Right.
you know? So I'm like, I think the decision could have been handled more efficiently, but I think it was done to serve a purpose. And I think it serves that purpose for the general audience, because, I mean, let's face it, we might be playing, like I said in my video, like, not everyone who's paying attention online is a guaranteed buyer.
Exactly.
And even then, they're not the majority of sales. Like,
Well, yeah, there's so many people who aren't like following it, who are just gonna walk into their GameStop or their Best Buy and see it and be like, oh, I guess the sequel's out, right? It's like, I think there's like a divide between gamers. There's like ones who just play games and enjoy them, and then
then there are others who actively partake in discussion about them.
And like I think those people are the people who go on like 4chan and like Reddit and like NeoGAF.
And the dedicated are always a vocal minority. Like,
they're not the ones who are going to affect the sales of the game.
Yeah, like it depends on your marketing too and the reviews. Like Grand Theft Auto 5 sold like what, 50 million?
Yeah.
There are not 50 million people on the internet discussing Grand Theft Auto.
No, it's a game that appeals to the mass, right?
Yeah, it's one of those mass appeal games. Like what is it? Twilight Princess sold fucking like, I fucking hate Twilight. Okay, I don't hate Twilight Princess. Twilight Princess is a solid Zelda game.
I take it back.
No, I'm like, Twilight Princess is a solid Zelda game. I really loved it when it came out. But it's the fans that make me hate it. When I say I hate Twilight Princess, I mean I hate the fans of Twilight Princess. The ones who just like suck its dick and are like, and I'm like, dude, Twilight Princess wasn't even the best. It didn't even have that good a soundtrack. And they're like, my Midna's Lament. You mean the only okay track in a sea of mediocrity?
Yeah.
And it's just, oh my god. Like,
Man,
there are
sold
so many
crazy.
things I do hate about Twilight Princess separately, like the soundtrack and the whole Ganon bit. but
It's an okay game.
I'm just like, holy shit. I'm just like fucking.
It's gonna be okay.
It's gonna be okay. We'll never get a Twilight. Well, we technically have a Twilight Princess sequel. It's called Four Swords Adventure.
It's okay. There will never be a game made in the style of Twilight Princess that isn't a remake
Thank
or a remaster.
God. I want my Twilight Princess prequel. It's fucking Majora's Mask. Shut the fuck up. Right?
I mean, like, it's just that's another story altogether. Like,
Let's
just annoying.
You know what?
Just
Fuck
annoying.
It. This video is us shitting on Twilight Princess now. Can we talk about how stupid the plot is?
we can dissect it in another video. Another little talk.
Twilight Princess, get ready.
I have strong feelings for that game, so they're not positive either.
I think Twilight Princess is certain. I think Twilight Princess is good. I just really hate the fans around it. Like, I have become so aware of its issues though that I kind of do not like it. Like I said, I played the game so much when I was a kid or like a teenager that I'm still burnt out from playing it.
Yeah. I definitely know what you mean. It's like you just play it, you know a game so well, or like you've played it so many times.
Even though you love it, you've played it so much, like you just can't enjoy it as much anymore.
Yeah. What would be
like I have I have that problem with Tales of Symphonia. Like I was playing it through and I'm like, this is a fun game, right? And I'm like, I haven't played this game in like a decade, but goddamn, I still remember the whole damn plot.
Yeah, right.
So it's hard to play the game now because like the whole plot is spoiled. Like I already know what's gonna happen, and I'm like, I've already beaten the game. I had save files for the game in my GameCube copy that were over 1,000 hours.
That's crazy.
And I'm just like, oh man.
That's a really long game, isn't it?
It's about 72 hours. You can extend it to like 120 if you're going for a completionist thing.
It's a pretty lengthy game.
Yeah, it's really good. I do think though, like the only Tales game that I think I can consistently replay and never get tired of it is Tales of Vesperia. Like,
yeah, you talk about that
Vesperia's,
one the most, I think.
Yeah, Vesperia is like the pinnacle of Tales games in my opinion. Like everything after Graces fucking sucks. And everything before Symphonia fucking sucks. And Legendia sucks. And Tales of the Abyss was alright.
I feel like it was
so like basically
the biggest
Symphonia
hit and miss game ever.
Abyss?
I mean the biggest hit and miss series ever.
Tales? Yeah, right? Like, what the fuck's going on there? Like, in my opinion, now that I think about it, I think Symphonia, Graces, and Vesperia are the only good Tales game. I don't know why I consider myself a fan of the series if, like, out of 15 of them, I only like 3. like, what the fuck's going on there?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I still remember going to the store getting Vesperia and just being fucking angry at it.
But
I beat that game.
On a different note, IGN and GameSpot have both reviewed Fire Emblem Fates. The IGN reviews just came out a little while ago. Let's check out what they say. Conquest has a 9.5, and Birthright has a 9.4.
Oh, get wrecked, GameSpot. But that's not what we're here to discuss right now.
I was gonna flawlessly transition into how they've like touched that up with censorship in localization. I was trying to do a good.
Okay, we'll get there, but like, what's the girl's name? Like your little Lolita sister in Conquest? Elise or something?
Elise? Is it Elise?
I think it's Elise. We're looking this shit up right now. Let's see.
really
Is it
want
Elise?
it,
It's
but I
Elise.
don't.
It's Elise. She's
really
like
want it, but I
12 in the
don't.
Japanese version, right?
Yeah, that's. Yeah.
She's 20 in the English version.
Yeah. I mean.
Because let's face it, who wants to a kid that looks 12?
Pedophiles? maybe what was I gonna say? But I guess the opposite end of that is who wants to
Fuck an
bone
adult that looks 12.
an adult that looks 20.
An adult that looks 20. I'm just like, I can understand. I like the age shift is totally understandable, right? Like,
Wait,
that's
is
just
that her
one of
in
those.
is that her in both versions?
No, that's just someone's fan render. I sent.
Oh, I was gonna say.
Yeah, I sent, for everyone watching this, I sent Rory like an image of someone's fan depiction of Elise if she was like 20. But yeah, like, I can understand Elise being depicted as 20 because it's less creepy that way.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, let's face it, like, changes in a game aren't made. Like, I know a lot of people feel like developers are insulting the player's intelligence when they change things, right? Like, a lot of people feel like they're personally being smacked in the face, right? But these changes aren't there for them. They're there for the general populace of people that are going to play the game not expecting anything. Because, like, people buy games for other people simply because of the box art. Like,
Oh yeah.
when I was...
When you're
did
little,
Fable...
that's all you do, right?
Yeah, like, I literally, when I bought Tales of Symphonia based on the box art when I was a kid.
Box art's pretty good.
Yeah.
Not
Like,
gonna
let
lie.
me see.
It's some pretty decent box art. I got it last year. I still haven't beaten it.
Like, what was it? My mom got me Fable simply because of the box art. Like, I remember...
I think that I was gonna say that is a game that people definitely bought just for.
the box art.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom got it for me based on the box. Yeah, like, we opened it up at Christmas and Fable was there, and my mom's like, it looked like a game you would like. We were like, what, 10 or 12? And like, my mom's buying us this M-rated game simply because of the box art. But no, the game wasn't really even M material anyway. It was like T material.
It was a simpler time when games were rated higher than they were.
Why is all this blood here in my E-rated Zelda?
I have a
Like-
question.
What, Rory?
How badly censored do you think Shin Megami Tensei Crossfire Emblem will be?
I hear they're actually going to go for an M rating with that one, so I don't think it'll be that censored.
Oh really? I didn't hear that. So
That's what I've heard. I'm not sure if they'll censor anything. Like, I'm positive.
does your dad work at Nintendo? Is that how you heard?
My dad works at Sony, you pleb. No. My mom's a Microsoft. She's a Microsoft.
She's a
And
Microsoft.
I'm a
Or, like,
Nintendo.
What's
My
the one?
sister's an N-Gear, or whatever it was called. What was it called? That fucking...
They were called the Game Gear. Wait.
Was
Which
there
one
a
are you talking
system-
about?
Was there a system called the N-Gear? I want to say there was.
There definitely was. That sounds really familiar. What?
there
Gear
was a
Inc. Texas.
Okay, the Game Gear. My sister's a fucking Game Gear. Let's just go with that.
Yeah, that's all that's appearing for me.
But, okay, what were we discussing before we got, like, sidetracked?
Before you got sidetracked, I tried to bring it back. Tried my best.
But it looks like your best is never good enough. Like, I get so easily sidetracked, it's not even funny.
I was gonna say. I wanted to talk about Fire Emblem Fates and how it got censored, or localized, changed.
Oh
and
yeah,
how it got censored.
I was gonna say, I think that if there are any changes in Shin Megami Tensei cross Fire Emblem, I think they'll either be Woolseyisms or cultural translations. Like, I really don't get why they would change the aesthetics of anything. You know, like, I just don't get it. What was that game rated in Japan?
Conquest and Fates.
No, FE Sharp or Sharp FE.
Gene
Ibun Roku.
Genai Ibun Roku.
Like, who the fuck gave it that rating? Okay, it has a B Seto rating, so that's like a T from what I recall.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's a T.
I typed in Genai Ibun Roku slash or hashtag FE rating, and it comes up, is this game rated M?
Okay, so it looks like it's actually more along the lines of an E10 and up. But, you know, we're probably going to get like a T rating equivalent. I don't really see there being that much of a difference. Like,
dude, how bad is it going to sell?
It's going to sell so awfully. But I'm going to buy it anyway. Like I'm buying that simply because it has Shin Megami Tensei in the title. That's basically it.
Yeah.
And it looks like Persona.
I was going to say.
And it has singing. It's like literally a game that looks like a hell of a lot of fun if you just want a fun RPG.
Street Fighter V had a little bit of censorship, but that was more like
just a different camera angle. Like, it's still there and it happens a little bit faster.
Well, there's one where our Mika, like, she like slaps her butt and you can like see her slap her butt.
Yeah, but they just like changed the camera angle for that one.
No, she actually like just grabs her side.
Really? For the final release it's different?
I'm pretty sure that she just grabs her side. It's the camera angle is different, but you can still see her like hand go to her side, like you know that like hands on your hips type thing.
Yeah.
I think that's what they did.
We've covered it.
We've covered it pretty well.
We've covered it more than a blanket statement that simply says censorship is always bad. Like,
we've covered it more than we've covered it more than a blanket statement like Twilight Princess is a good game.
We've covered it more than Kanye's ego.
Whew.
There's no recovering from that one.
No,
Give up, Rory. Go big or go home.
How about
Wife of Pablo.
We've covered it bigger. We've covered it more than.
We've covered it more than the bombing of Hiroshima.
I was gonna say we've covered it more than that Kim Kardashian broke the internet. How that covered all the internet. It broke it, dude. Remember that day where the internet went out?
Oh, that day. I remember that day. Like, suddenly there was just an influx of people who never used the internet before.
Yeah, it was like, hey. Yeah, but I think we're pretty much done here. Oh boy. Oh boy. I'm a little bit tired.
Now, we should clarify. These thoughts on localization aren't thoughts on censorship. That's a different video entirely.
Yeah, censorship is different than localization.
Yeah, censorship is drastically different. Like, they do overlap sometimes, but they're pretty much different subjects.
Yeah.
Like you could argue that, like, it's basically not every case of localization is censorship, but you could argue every case of censorship is localization. But then again, like, censorship is brought on by higher governing laws, so like, it's like watching a movie on a certain channel network, and because of that channel's policies, they can't play like the F word or whatever, so they bleep it out. Like, I don't get when people say censorship can't enhance an experience, because I think if you censor something, you can make something goddamn funny. Like,
What do you mean? Like, what's an example?
I don't know why, but I think it's like when you're one of those things where you're younger, where like someone just like, I think it's funny when someone like brings awareness to censorship. Like, have you seen the Deadpool movie?
Say that again, sorry. I blanked out.
Have you seen the Deadpool movie?
No, I haven't yet.
Like, that person who commented saying all censorship was bad, right?
Yeah.
And they made the argument that I wouldn't like censorship in a Deadpool movie, would I? And I'm like, actually, I think if Deadpool had made a joke about censorship, that would have been really great.
That would have been
Like,
really funny.
Like if the movie had started off and Deadpool was like, I think it'd be funny if there was a plot line revolving around Deadpool. Like, I thought the Deadpool movie when it was first announced, because there was an issue of it being rated PG-13, like they wanted to get that rating. That I thought it would have been funny if the plot revolved around Deadpool trying to make his movie R-rated, but shit keeps getting in the way and making it PG-13.
The quest for a PG-13.
The quest for the R rating, rated PG-13, right? Like, I thought that would have been a funny little bit to have in the movie. Like,
Yeah.
what if it was rated PG-13 for the first minute, and then and then Deadpool just broke it out into an R-rated movie? Like, that would have been hilarious, in my opinion.
It would have been pretty good. I'm gonna have to go soon though.
Oh no, why, Rory?
Because everybody wants me to do stuff at home.
Oh, well, I guess that's it for this video.
I mean, we were pretty much done talking about.
Yeah, we were pretty much done talking. But yeah,
I think
there might be anything you want to say, Rory? Like,
hi.
don't vote for Trump.
Don't vote for Trump. Don't vote for Trump or Clinton. If you do, you are part of the problem.
Just don't vote at all. Just like, no one should get a vote this year. We should just be like, all these candidates are shit. Can we just like hold off on one election for like 4 years? Let the people run the country. Anarchy. Anarchy.
I'm not gonna chant with you. I'm gonna go though. This has been a great time. If you like this, like, tell us. Because sometimes I have good moments and I'm insightful.
Yeah, we had this like, oh man, Rory, remember we had a glorious Guilty Gear Xrd fight on PS4 via SharePlay, and it was so beautiful. I wish we had been recording that, but
it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen again. We're gonna have
it's
another
gonna happen.
great
We're gonna stream that again, and we're gonna hope for similar, well, not similar results, but equal materials of gold. But like, my Elgato busted, so I had to get a new one. So if you want to invest in BriHard getting an Elgato, there's a
donate
PayPal.
$200 to the Save BriHard Foundation.
It's like $100 to get an Elgato. Like,
Oh, is it? Probably just $200 here.
oh, probably. Yeah, you live in fucking Canada.
Yep. Where the
There's a
dollars-
donation button somewhere on my homepage. Donate today.
Part of the game, it's like if you donate, you get to play a game. Part of it
If
is-
you donate in the game, you donate in real life.
Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna go.
Shield music offline. All right. See you, Rory.
See you, Brian.
Bye. And I guess that's it for this.